Welcome to the Gamers Inn for our Xbox reveal special, randomly on a Tuesday afternoon. Hello, everyone. And by everyone, I mean Ryan.
Oh, oh, thank you, thank you.
Well,
I thought you were
the chat
talking to our
room.
chat room,
And the chat room as well. Hi, chat room.
which is why there was silence. We'll dub that in later.
Yeah, that's fine. It's there. Yeah, just random cheers. Woo!
Yeah, the Microsoft cheering club that was in the background of that event.
Exactly. So basically, we hopefully will have a special guest joining us shortly. He was saying he was at a business meeting and stuck in traffic, so cross your fingers that he'll be here later. But for now, we just finished watching the big Xbox One reveal. So, okay, first off, the name. Who called that?
Did anybody?
I don't know if anybody did. I mean, I did, like, when they, just before he said it, they were like, I thought maybe it was going to be the Alive in the intro video, because they were like, Alive, 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 and then he was just like, one this, one that, and I was like, oh, it's totally going to be the Xbox One. One this, one that, and the Xbox One, and I was like, I see.
Well, it's interesting. I think the name really doesn't make a difference because they continuously called it the Xbox. The Xbox,
which is what I thought that they were going to do. I thought that they were just going to go the way Apple did with the iPad and just call it the Xbox and leave it at that. So, I mean, they couldn't really go with the 720, even though that has a lot of mind share, because that's what everyone's been calling it for months and months and months. But,
years.
Well, yeah, years.
Well, it was sort of a name. The 720 was just like a sequel to a console, double 360. You got 720, and I think there was even like a logo in I Am Legend, like was based in the future, and they had like that, like Microsoft announces the Xbox 720 and also Batman versus Superman movie.
Yeah.
So there's no way they were gonna go with 720 because it wasn't really a name they came up with. It would have been funny if they were just like, yeah, let's
just go with it.
Yeah.
But then, I mean, it kind of causes, not with this generation, or this next, see, this is going to be confusing. Do we now call the Xbox One this generation, or are we still calling it all next gen? Because it would cause a problem for next gen, in that it would be the 1080, and then after that, you're into, like, the 14 something, and it's just like, well, you know, like, you just gotta stop.
Well, I mean, we called this one next generation. Wait, sorry. The 360 was the next generation for about the first year, right? And then it sort of stopped being called the next generation once it was sort of all that was out there and available. And I think you have to differentiate the two levels, because the PlayStation 3 and the Xbox 360 are still going to be around for the next year or two with games coming out for them. And the Xbox One and the PS4 will be that next gen, while we have that, I guess, previous gen. I don't know. I don't even think there'll be a...
I'm getting confused already.
I don't know. Let's just play some video games.
Well, I would love to play some video games, but do you know what they didn't really talk about at this big Xbox reveal?
I could do this.
Video games.
Jazzercise to manipulate your... I mean, it looks like the Kinect will actually work.
It did. I was very impressed with Kinect 2.0. It seemed to work, which is something that, you know, the previous Kinect was just kind of like, bleh, right? Is, you know, they have more joints, they have more surfaces and depth, and they were saying it can measure your heart rate. Does the regular Kinect that's available right now actually measure your heart rate?
No, but I mean, I could see that being useful. I mean, one of the biggest applications for the Kinect currently are exercise games. So
it felt a little bit intrusive, like the Kinect will watch you and know you well enough to know what your heart is doing. I'm just like, ugh, Kinect, back off, I need some space.
Yeah, it's like, oh, I can tell that's you wanting to play video games, Ryan, because you're wearing that
that shirt you like.
It's like, why are you wearing the same shirt 3 times in a row? It's like,
stop judging me, Xbox.
I don't know. It seems really smart, and that's really cool that it's like highly connected to the cloud, that it'll be able to constantly being updated. And I would love my Xbox to say, "Hey, you should probably do laundry because you're wearing your just inside shirt again." That'd be nice.
Yeah. But... So the one thing that they did kind of say is it's going to be the whole idea behind the Xbox One is it's one thing in your living room. It does your movies, it does your music, it does your TV, and it does your video games, and basically everything that you could want in your living room. Oh, including video calling. They showed off Skype kind of as well. So, you know, everything that you would want in your living room is done by your Xbox. So, how do you feel about that? Because I know that's one of the big pitfalls that we were kind of hoping that they would stay away from. What we wanted was a next-gen gaming console, and what they've given us is a next-gen entertainment console. And those are two dramatically different things. They did not focus on video games with this at all. What they've focused on is entertainment, mostly in the realm of TV. So, how do you feel about that?
Um, I don't know. I was bored for the first half hour. I really just wanted to see some games
I
and see
made a
what.
mental note of when they actually finally started showing something that had to do with video games, and it was
Right.
30 minutes into an hour-long presentation about a game console, or
That's crazy.
what was previously a game console. Like I said, you can't even call this a game console anymore.
Well, I mean, at least they didn't say it'll support Netflix.
Oh my god.
Great. Of course it will. Come on, guys. I mean, it's really cool. We still don't know. There's rumors that the Xbox will sort of make cord cutters going back to cable TV something that they'll want to do because there'll be some sort of deal or something. We don't know those details yet, but
There would have to be, because that's one thing I noticed is a lot of the stuff that they were showing off is available to people in certain regions with a certain cable package. And being up here in Canada, I'm not in a certain region, and Joel and I are cord cutters, so we don't have a cable package. So half of the stuff that they showed off at this event, I'm just like, well, we can't have that, we can't have that, oh, I can't do that, so what
do you
now?
want to do any of it?
Well, live
the
live
sports
sports is what I really miss about cutting the cord. But at the same time, like I was able to watch the Leafs play because I just hooked the Mac up to the TV and streamed it from the CBC website. So I mean, I'm not missing that much stuff. I mean, the quality wasn't that great, but at the same time, I got to watch my hockey. So that's really the only thing that I miss about actually cutting the cord. But I mean, if I log into my Xbox by saying Xbox on, which is kind of cool, you could just walk in your living room and go Xbox on.
Well, the instant on part about it is my favorite thing. I mean, and both systems are going to be supporting the instant on feature. I mean, currently to turn on a Wii U, it takes about a minute to do anything, which seems fine now considering all the systems are like that. But when you get an instant on system next to it, it's going to feel like you are literally in the last gen, which you are. But it's crazy to think that we'll be able to get to a point where I can walk into the room and start playing like Halo 6 just instantly, right? Not that they announced Halo 6. I mean, we didn't get an exclusive.
It would be Halo 5 first, right?
Oh, no. They're going one step back, three steps forward, and then they get Halo 6. Or Halo TV, I guess. I don't know.
Oh, man, yeah. So much. There was a lot of entertainment stuff that was announced here. And one of the things that they said in the intro video and then in Dawn's presentation right at the very beginning and then again at the end is like, E3 is where they're going to show us all of the games. And they did mention that there are a lot of games coming. Like, I have to flip through all my Heart of the Swarm notes here. So
Heart of the Swarm confirmed for Xbox One.
No, God, no. So there's going to be 15 Xbox exclusives in the first year, and 8 of those are completely new franchises. So, I mean, that is exciting, right? You know,
So we know 2 of those, which are... they said, so you got Forza, which is an old property, and then you have the Quantum Break, which was from Remedy.
Which, I'm sorry, but worst game trailer ever.
It makes no sense.
It made no sense. I mean, I kind of get the idea that you're going to be able to manipulate time somehow and do the pausing of things and rotating and stuff, but like, what? Like, there's a little girl talking to her mom, and they're real people, and then all of a sudden there's a boat breaking through a bridge, and then the little kid does some weird thing with her hand, and like, I'm just like, what the hell's going on?
She said, she ET'd the other woman, she said, go home, and then she touched her ear, and then for some reason her home was like a bridge being cut in half by a giant boat.
Yeah.
It looks weird, and maybe it's just the cutscenes, like the story is told with real people, which would be interesting if you could get really good actors and stuff. But I mean, video games haven't really done live action very well, but we don't know anything about it. That's the issue. It's like, why would I want to buy it? I don't know anything about it.
The phrase in the trailer was like something along the lines of like, time is the fire that will burn us all. And I was just like, what? What?
You don't have no idea how many times I swore at the TV. I was like, what the fuck are they talking about?
Watch out for time, Ryan. Watch out for time.
I just timed catching it. There's probably a song about that.
Probably. So yeah, I mean, we got a racing game view. We got the Quantum Break, which is one of the new titles, the new properties. But I mean, like, there were some really, really funny, really snarky tweets on Twitter when the guy from EA came out, because like I'm pulling it up now, reading it, because I mean they were freaking hilarious. There was like I think Matt Forkham, who I think is actually in the chat room right now, tweeted out saying like, hey, you guys like famous people, right? Like, here, famous people, like our stuff now. That's like, and then right after that, Dorkly tweeted, if there's two things gamers love, it's EA and random sports stars.
Yeah.
I was just like, yeah, come on, dudes. Like,
But
you could
it's a
have hooked us
national-
with other stuff.
It's a national on TV broadcast across the world, and on Spike TV, no matter. And
True.
they kind of have to show all the stuff about like TV and sports and connectivity features, and that's why there was so few games. Is because I don't think like they're trying, in terms of the market they were aiming for, they hit that market with the things they showed.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not going to give anything to Microsoft until their E3 presentation and they talk strictly about games, because I'm glad they got all this stuff out of the way.
That
because
is true, yeah.
That should mean when they come to E3, they're just going to say game, 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 game. But that's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. It'll be game, Netflix, sports, EA guy, Call of Duty Ghosts again.
Yeah.
Which, I mean,
well, I don't know. They seem to really emphasize that E3 is where they're going to do all their stuff, and they did get a lot of the entertainment stuff out of the way in the hardware reveal. So, I mean, it's good. But, so yeah, they did, when they were talking to EA, they revealed that there's going to be, well, I guess they revealed more of the titles that we're going to get. I don't know if they're Xbox exclusives or not, but it was, Madden, FIFA, UFC, and something else. What was the something else? I can't remember. But
Oh, yeah, there's 4 of them.
I wrote them down because I'm awesome. Keep talking.
FIFA has an exclusive.
NBA, basketball.
NBA.
Which I found it funny that there was no hockey. But, I mean, again.
Hockey, I don't think is like, again, it's like it's not a worldwide
yeah,
sort of
phenomenon
sport.
the way it is. Yeah.
Like, well, I mean, it is in a sense, but when you compare it to basketball, football, and UFC and all those fun things,
Yeah, they're quite big properties. So, they were really trying to show off what they could do with the next gen with all of these sports games. And I mean, I couldn't help but when I was watching the gameplay footage, I was just like, oh my god, Uncanny Valley. Like, you cannot break out of this. They're people. They could like mimic, like show muscles, but for some reason, faces were just terrible. And I was like,
Well,
what's going on?
wasn't it pre-rendered except for the FIFA stuff?
I have no idea.
I was trying to figure that out. A lot of people were saying that looked like pre-rendered CG, but I couldn't confirm that. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if some of it was, because
it just seemed like they were so happy with the new console, and there's so much to do and so much power in this new box, and the faces looked as bad, if not worse, than what they have now. Like it was just terrible. Which is actually why I got so excited when they showed Call of Duty, because holy crap, like that game is beautiful.
Yeah, it is. Just the jungle scene, it seems to be the best benchmark for a console, is to show a jungle scene. Because, like,
well, it's got everything.
before,
It's got water, it's got animals, it's got leaves, it's got light and shadow, and yep, it's got it all.
Exactly. I mean, I'm looking for. I think the new Call of Duty game looks great, but again, being a console reveal, it did nothing for me in the sense that I'll be able to play the exact same game on PS4 or my PC, minus the exclusive DLC. But I don't like playing online with other people in that game. It's scary.
That is true, and that's one thing that no matter how great of a console they make, they're never going to take the douchebags out of Call of Duty. Like,
It would have been nice if they had a new feature on Kinect.
Douchebag filter.
Yeah, it's like, well, this guy seems to be using racist terms a lot. Let's just go. Like, why can't they do that? Like, have like
That's true. Knowing you so well, be like, oh, you're a racist. You go play with the other racists. And we'll put all the regular, normal, nice people in a different Maybe that's part of their new matchmaking that they were toting.
They did say matchmaking 2.0.
Yeah.
So, but I was thinking more along the lines of like, if the Kinect can tell when someone's using those terms and just auto mutes them, or like can tell when someone has their mic like I haven't played Xbox Live in a long time, but I was jumping back into Spartan Ops, and no sooner do I get into a match, I hear some kid yelling at his mom. His mom comes in the room. They start talking about what kind of pizza they're going to order, and then you hear the mom go up to like their dog and say, "Oh, hey, Sparky," and walk away. It's like that. Mute your mic. I don't understand why we couldn't get that in terms of like audio.
Filtering.
Yeah, or just recognition, you know,
Yeah.
like.
Fair enough. So what we should say, what we've kind of skimmed over in our, not really snarkiness, but our where are our video games talk, is that the specs of the Xbox One, we just totally glazed right over. So we've got 8 gigs of RAM. I'm actually going to throw up the image of the, not throw up, throw up as in put on
Yeah,
video.
wasn't that bad?
Yeah, no. So
Actually.
this is what the new Xbox looks like. So every new Xbox is going to come with the box, with the Kinect, and with a controller. And the controller is actually different, but not different enough. Like, I'm really happy with what they did. I was worried that they were going to try to make it like lighter or smaller, or because we all know how much I love my big hefty Xbox controller. So, I mean, they've moved the Xbox button up, which is good because now it's out of the way. I find like it was kind of hard to hit your little tiny buttons next to the Xbox button because, you know, as soon as you hit that, then all of a sudden you're turning off your console or something in the middle of a game session and all you want to do is pause. So they've moved that up and out of the way, which I really like. But other than that, the controller's pretty standard. They said that there's 40 upgrades from the existing Xbox controller, but it's still pretty much the same in terms of like form factor and looks. So that's good.
Yeah.
So the box that we have is 8 gigs of RAM, USB 3.0 connections, Wi-Fi, Blu-ray, so you'll notice on the front that they still do have a disk drive, which is awesome, because yay, used games maybe! So...
yeah.
We'll touch on that a little bit later, but they do still have a disk drive, so that's good. And apparently it's going to run silently, which is quite a problem with the existing Xbox, is that it's really, really loud.
Well,
So...
the old... Is the slim Xbox? I never got the slim one, but I heard it was quieter.
Well, the slim one is the one that I have, and it's quiet sometimes, but I don't know if it's the fan or if it's the disk drive, but one of the two. When it spins, man, it sounds like the thing's taken off. It's really, really loud. So basically exactly. Basically what they've done is they have taken 3 operating systems, the existing Xbox One, Windows, and then they've joined them with this Kinect interface, which is the architecture that helps you switch between Xbox stuff and Windows type stuff. So it's interesting. It's got a whole lot going on. So what do you think about the form factor of the hardware, like with the new Kinect, the new Xbox, and the new controller?
I love the new controller. I think it's continuing the tradition that the Xbox controller, the Xbox 360 controller is the best controller you can play with. I mean, I use it on my PC and on the Xbox, so I'm really glad that like you said, move the guide button. You'll notice that it doesn't have like the huge hump in the back where the battery pack is.
I think I was looking down taking notes when he said that, because that's another thing. To me, the controller is the heart of the system. It's the part that you hold in your hands closest to yourself all the time. I love my controller. It's like a part of me. And I mean, I looked down for 2 seconds to write something on my notepad, and then I looked up again and it was gone. And I was just like, guys, come on, like just cater to the gamer a little bit. Just a little.
Well, I mean, the controller is something, like you said, you're looking at all the time, and that's why when the PlayStation or Sony had their event and they showed the controller but not the box, that made the perfect sense, because you're always looking at this controller. It's the thing that needs to be perfect for a console to be a success, right? So it doesn't matter that the new Xbox One looks kind of like a giant VCR, um, and that the camera, it just looks big to
The
me. Now I didn't
whole
see
thing
comparison photos.
looks big. I mean, like
It's
I'm
big.
gonna I'm gonna throw it up on the screen here again. So if you look at the actual controller, where it kind of bows down in the middle below the button,
Hmm.
that's kind of the form factor of the existing controller. So now it has a straight across the top part where the new what'd you call it, guide button. So that's added to the actual thing. Like it looks just taller. I mean, the actual Xbox box is bigger, the Kinect sensor looks bigger, and it's all very square. Like they really took the whole box thing and
Yeah.
applied it to everything. They've
But I
just
mean,
gone away from curves.
yeah, and I mean, I think personally that a console should look sexy, but I mean, it doesn't need to be like the best thing ever. I think as long as it does what they're promising, like being quiet and the Kinect works as they demoed, I don't know if it matters what it looks like. I mean, it kind of does to me because I'm sort of sharing the living room with a non-gamer. So if I say like I want to put all the Xbox in front of the TV, it's like, well, now there's just this giant black box that I have to like feng shui and decor and
But right now,
there's,
what they've said is that this is the only thing that you're going to need in your living room. So, if it's the only
you
thing that
know,
you need in your living room, then you can get rid of everything and just teach her how to use the Xbox.
yeah, yeah.
You don't sound like that's going to go over well.
No. I mean, I know maybe for some people who are a single console gamer, sure, it's nice that they can have one system that does everything. But unfortunately for me, the Xbox is not going to play my Nintendo games. It's not going to play my PlayStation games. I mean, it might not even play any games that I want to play this fall. So, I mean, that's the issue here is that I need it to play games first and foremost, right?
Yeah.
I don't care about. I mean, look at the Wii U with their TV integration. Like,
Hmm.
it's neat, and Microsoft's definitely got a leg up because it actually looks like it's going to be fast. Um, but it's not what I need in a system,
Yeah,
you know?
and that was kind of the feeling that I was left with after, like, I was very excited about this whole reveal event, and I'm sitting down and I'm watching, and at first I was like, oh my God, yay, new Xbox. Oh, we've got the name, now we've got a picture of it. Awesome, we've seen the hardware. This is amazing. Oh, now he's using it. He's using it for TV. Now he's
He's
using
watching
it
it.
for movies. Now he's
Yeah,
listening to music. Where are my games, guys? And I just found like my excitement level was up here when it started and just went down, 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 down. And then even the games that they showed me sports games, they showed me racing games, they showed me Quantum Break, which I don't even know what to call that. And then they showed me a shooter, And I mean, I know that I am a really heavy RPG type gamer, but I mean, at the same time, I am excited about Call of Duty Ghosts. I think it's going to be really good. It's the first Call of Duty I've been excited about in a long time in terms of story. It seems like they've gone more role playing and story heavy in this one, so yay. But at the same time, like of all the titles that they showed, none of it was really like catering to more of a traditional gaming audience, Like there was no Fable at all. There
no,
was no, which I mean, we still don't officially know if there is Fable in the works. Like everyone says, yes, there's Fable in the works, but you know, there's
there's
still
always a
no,
Fable
yeah,
in the
there
works.
exactly. There's always a Fable in the works, but there's
Just
no
like there's
official
always a
announcement.
Halo, and
But
yeah,
exactly, like there was a Halo TV announcement, but not an actual Halo game announcement. There was there was no Fable. What's another Xbox exclusive that they didn't touch on? That's
uh, hmm.
I'm trying to think.
Well, yeah. Is it a sports title? I feel like we're missing a big one.
So do I. Like I feel
Let me
like
look
there's.
around.
Come on, chat room, let's go. But anyways, the point is like there were some really what I would say central gaming experiences that weren't touched on in this reveal at all. And so yeah, I was kind of disappointed with that.
Yeah.
So I don't know. We didn't get a price point. We got a very vague release date, which I mean, we can just call it holiday 2013. They said later this year. So I mean, clearly that's going to be an October November release. Like it's going to be out just before Christmas. So
Wouldn't it be crazy if it came out in September?
it would be crazy.
It's like, yeah. I mean, it seems weird to not just say holiday 2013. I mean, they may still be. I mean, it's kind of early. They may still be working on when they can get it out and still have it be a success in the sense of having enough consoles in stores,
True.
and games for that matter. I mean,
Well, yeah,
they
they're going to
cost
have to work with their developers, right? They can't just say, let's bring
yeah.
it out in August. Oh, no one has games done? Oh, well, August it is.
Yeah, here's Kinect Sports 4. Just go nuts. Use that until Watch Dogs or something. I mean, I'm pretty sure it'll be a holiday. They usually like pin those really close together. It's not weird that we didn't see price because I think it is going to be a number that the mainstream folks wouldn't want to see.
Yeah.
Um,
So I mean, I'm not a PlayStation gamer, so I can't remember really anything that PlayStation talked about, but we had that one PlayStation episode and then I just kind of went boom out my head. So, did we get a price point on the PlayStation yet?
No,
I didn't
there's
think
no
so.
price point. We know it'll be a fixed cost. I don't think there's been any talk of contract pricing like we've seen with Microsoft. But Sony has said that they're not going to make the same mistake they did with PlayStation 3 on multiple levels, in the sense that they're not going to lose a bunch of money on the hardware, and they're not going to charge an arm and a leg for it.
Right. Which I don't really understand how you could do both. Like,
Well, I
either
mean,
you charge an arm and a leg and you make your money back, or you keep it cheap and you lose money. So you can't really have it both ways. But you never know. They obviously have a price in mind and that meets both of those criteria. So yay.
yeah,
Do you think we're going to get prices at E3?
I mean, Sony's done it before. They did it with the PS3, but again, like, so Sony has done it. I think Microsoft as well has done it. I mean, Nintendo has been famous for not announcing prices at E3. They usually show everything that you can see about the system, and then like a couple months before launch, they'll tell you how much it is. I think for both consoles, we'll see the cost. I'd be surprised if we didn't, because to me, it seems like that's a detail you need to hammer in right away.
Well, exactly.
You know?
I mean, like now they've shown their hardware, they've gotten people who are going to be excited about it, and I really think that because their price is going to be so high, it would have to be. Like, I mean, we're talking probably somewhere, I would say under 500, but definitely over 300. So, you know, like we're looking at a serious investment in terms of an entertainment console. So that's something you have to budget for. That's not something that most people can just say, oh yeah, here, take my $500, you know? Like, that's something you really have to think about. And you have to
Right.
give people, if you want a successful launch, you have to give them enough time to figure out where they're going to get that money. And I mean, there's some people who, like us, who have probably been squirreling away little bits of money wherever they can because they know big console releases are coming out. But at the same time, if you haven't had that opportunity, or if you've been waiting or whatever, if you just saw the reveal today and went, oh, yeah, that's something I want, you have to give people time to figure out where that money's going to come from. So I think whoever announces their price first is probably going to have a bit of a leg up, just because it gives the consumer a little bit of breathing room and more confidence, I would think. So I don't know. What do you think?
I think you're going to see a $500 price point for both systems
Yeah.
around there. I don't can't go any more expensive, because once you start factoring like extra controllers in games and stuff, because nobody goes to buy a system day one and walk home with the system.
Yeah.
I mean, you're going to want to buy a game, you're going to want to buy an extra controller, and that brings the cost up to like $800 with taxes. And I know this because I just did this like last year with
Yeah.
the Wii U, where a lot of people were like, oh, 350, that's a lot of money for what you're getting. Not in the sense that, you know, the Xbox isn't going to cost any
Right.
less, but
So
yeah.
when the Xbox 360 first launched, it was $299, right?
That's a great question.
I'm pretty sure it was $299.
I think it might have been $399, but I know the PlayStation was $599 for the
Yeah.
60 gig.
So
That's, yeah.
so sorry about that. So anyways, point is,
I
I
don't-
totally lost my train of thought there.
Xbox.
Xbox, price points. Right, okay, so you have your straight console, which is, you know, you've got a good few $100 there. But now they're throwing in the Kinect sensor, which their current Kinect sensor is $100 and change. And their next gen Kinect sensor is going to be more expensive than that. That makes sense. You're looking probably at $150 or $200 worth of kit just for the Kinect sensor. So, I mean, the controller cost doesn't really factor in, because that's what came with an original Xbox system, right? You had your system and your controller. And now you have your system, your controller, and a next gen Kinect. they're going to have a really hard time hitting that $500 price point.
Oh yeah.
So I don't know, but anything more than that, and that's going to turn a lot of people away. So,
Well, it's like buying a new computer. I mean, maybe we're getting to the point where PC game, like there's going to be no contest between pricing when buying a new PC computer or gaming computer and buying a new gaming console. You know, because when you really look
they
at
have to
it,
be really, really careful with that, though,
I
because
know
PCs are so moddable. I can't open
that's
up
true.
my Xbox and throw in an extra 8 gigs of RAM when that becomes available. Versus my PC, I can open it up any day and plug in something new, whether that's a bigger hard drive, whether that's more RAM. Like, pretty much there's only, like, the one part, the main motherboard part of the computer that you can't really upgrade. Or, like, if you're going to upgrade that, you might as well go buy a new computer.
Yeah.
But, you know, like, pretty much everything else in a PC is replaceable and upgradable. That doesn't happen with consoles. So if you can't upgrade, then you have to be really, really careful with your price point.
Yeah, I mean, with an Xbox, with a console in general, like when you compare it to the PC in the sense that the PC you can mod it and stuff to play new games that come out to keep up with the changing required functions, or sorry, required hardware. It's getting hot in here. And
Just don't take off all your clothes.
Xbox, man. Woo. No, but with the Xbox or with consoles in general, when it has like that fixed hardware and the developers are constantly developing for it, you still get better looking games without even having to change your hardware. Whereas opposed to on PC, you do need to upgrade to keep up with games. Now, mind you, some games on PC look better. I mean, if you look at games right now. But yeah, I don't know. That was just an example of how they could justify having a really expensive console, but no one's going to look at that and say, hey, that's a great idea.
Yeah. So in terms of the actual new Kinect sensor, we've got 2 gigs per second of data transfer, which is kind of mind-blowing. Like, that's huge tech. 1080p video capture, and like we said, touched on earlier, more joints, more orientation capture, like all of that. It's huge. So with the voice
Fingers, though, right?
I know, fingers.
No, did they? Can you do fingers?
I think they had I think wrist, and then kind of hand joint, and then thumb. So it was kind of like all 4 of your fingers are like one big finger. So it was like this joint, and then your finger joints, and then your wrists. So
That's how I navigate everything on this. It's like Fruit Ninja.
yeah, I was gonna say you're now officially a ninja.
I was hoping for fingers, because that would allow you to do more.
Like like kind of like Mac stuff, like 3 fingers up to do stuff, or how I assume that Mac stuff works, because I don't really know how Mac stuff works, but gestures.
Gestures, yeah, but I mean, I'm fine with just the way he was navigating and stuff and using gestures to actually do stuff, because currently with the Kinect, there's this function where you can wave like off screen, on screen to make it go through the different panels, and sometimes that'll like grab onto stuff within the window, or it'll actually work, and when it works, it's cool, but when it doesn't, it's frustrating. So it looks like the Kinect is really. This is the Kinect that they were supposed to launch with, I think. Maybe with a couple extra features, but
yeah. So in terms of the actual interface, the big thing that they were hyping up at the beginning of the at the beginning of the presentation was the whole snap mode idea, where you could have what you're doing in one panel, and you could have something else on the side, and you could switch between a whole bunch of things very easy and seamlessly. And one of the things that they showed switching between was like going from a movie to a game to a TV show, and I was like, why would you want to interrupt your gaming session with a TV show? Or why would you, or well, I guess I can kind of see that, but like, why would you have a TV show or a movie and a game running at the same time? Because it was like, this is me racing a car, now I'm watching a car racing movie, now this is me racing a car. Like, no!
It's great if you know, like, your significant other goes to the bathroom and you want to like get that extra level in, or for example, if you have like little kids that shouldn't be watching you play Gears of War, and you're just chainsawing
dudes. Here, have
dudes.
some SpongeBob.
It's like,
oh, he's not paying attention.
Xbox, SpongeBob. Or, you know, it's the virtual throw the towel over the TV when boobies come on screen or something. I don't know.
Yeah, really. So what did you think of the whole operating system interface thing? Because, I mean, there's been a lot of people that don't really enjoy the tiled Windows 8 interface. And Xbox has gone so heavy into the tiled interface that, I mean, there's kind of no coming back from it. But how do you feel about that? Because I know I don't really like the way my Xbox interface works. There's a whole lot of tabs that I don't use, and the ones that I do, like social and achievements and stuff, I find get buried because they're trying to show me so many other things all at once. So what do you think? Do you think that the tiled interface is something that they should be doing, shouldn't be doing, getting away from? Do you think it will work better with the ability to use your hands, use the Kinect motion, and use the smart glass? Because that's something else that they were saying, that your smartphone will be integrated right into the operating system of the Xbox. So do you think with all of those tools, it's going to be a better interface? Do you think that maybe everything they've been doing with Xbox, Windows Phone, and Windows 8 is going to come together in the awesome that is Xbox One, or do you think it's just too much?
Yeah, I don't know. I think I really preferred, like other people did, the older Xbox UI where it was all about the games, and then
I find my games get lost.
Yeah, and I mean, I was fiddling with it today, just trying to get everything set up so I could actually watch the stream, and I was playing some different games. I mean, to get to your XBLA games, it's like 3 or 4 levels deep. But if I want to watch the new Rihanna video, I could just go over to the music tab. I mean, that seems really unbalanced to me. I mean, unless you're a Rihanna fan, then maybe it's a little more even, but I don't know. I feel like with this new system, with the Kinect built in and being able to say, you know, Xbox play this or Xbox do that, and actually have it be instant and work, that certainly makes the clutter a little more forgivable. But, I mean, like you said, it's an entertainment system. It's not a game system anymore. So they have to have all that stuff front and center.
Which I kind of find funny that back in the day it was the Nintendo Entertainment System. And now it's like, we're just like, oh, entertainment system.
Yeah. I mean, as long as they're giving you more ways to just jump directly to content, and we saw that with Kinect, and I mean, maybe make it a little more controller friendly. Because like right now it's just like a bunch of moving the stick around and
right now
all these tiles.
Yeah, well, and with the Xbox One, they didn't show controller navigation at all. All they showed was the Kinect and then your phone, so smart glass. There was no navigation with the controller, and I feel like that's probably the way that it's meant to be. You're not meant to use the controller for anything but gaming, which, you know, like I don't really know how I feel about that. I don't know. I'm a little bit upset by their move away from gaming, and I know, like you were saying, how your Xbox Live Arcade stuff gets lost, and, you know, Rihanna's music video is easy to find. I noticed that because I was just goofing around doing the Easter egg hunt thing this year, and just trying to find, like, I knew what I was looking for, but trying to find, like, navigate to it and search for it and stuff. The Xbox Live Arcade is awful. It's a terrible interface, terribly laid out. It's hard to search, you know, even just to try to find a game like a Mass Effect, you know, which is not an arcade title. They're full-on game titles. It's just like the whole game interface is terrible. And they've taken that terrible interface and really, really relied on it. And I don't think that that's a good choice for a gamer. In terms of actually just being someone who wants this as their living room entertainment system, it's probably fine because you can talk to it and tell it what you want, and you're probably not looking for, you know, that indie title that your friend told you about a couple days ago. You're looking for the next basketball game, you know? Yeah. So, I don't know. It's just...
Yeah, exactly. And again, it comes right down to it. If they had shown games the entire time with using these extra features, we probably would be having a very different conversation.
Very true.
And I mean, I don't know about Jocelyn, but I still haven't made my decision on what I want to buy. I was joking before the show or early on in the show that I'm going to buy a new video card. I still don't know what I'm going to do. I mean, Sony definitely showed some first-party titles that people will actually want to know they want to get because they're established franchises and stuff. But, you know, there's still E3, but at least now we know, like, the bare bones sort of what Microsoft's doing.
Right.
And it's kind of what we expected.
Yeah. It is a lot of what we expected. So what they have, another thing that they've done with their whole interface and operating system is the new Xbox Live. So they were talking about how Xbox Live is now powered by more than the whole entire world's computing power in 1999, and kind of that's pretty cool that now I feel like we stole computers somehow, like they just took everything from 1999 and made Xbox Live.
Yeah, and I'm really excited about like a lot of the features that they talked about, like when they were talking about Xbox Live, they were talking about dynamic achievements and how it's not just about how I kicked a chicken 20 yards. It's now about like how good I am at kicking a chicken and showing that off to people, and I didn't just hit level 50 to get all the achievements. It's going to actually tell people like how you played the game and how far you got, rather than just doing 20 of 60 achievements. I don't know. I think but they didn't show it. They showed like this weird progress graph
I
and
didn't
stuff.
understand the progress thing that they showed, and they didn't show it. It was just kind of in the background. They never zoomed in on it, and they never explained it. So I'm sure, again, that's something else we'll see more of at E3. But what they did talk about was matchmaking and how it's, I can't remember, did they call it dynamic matchmaking, or am I making that up? I might be making that up.
I don't know.
So
Sounds like something. They had a lot of words like dynamic used
and
in
yeah,
presentations.
exactly. So lots of buzzwords, lots of things that don't really mean anything. So they did say that you can be searching for matches, and it's like, oh, maybe it was matchmaking 2.0. I don't know. Anyways, you can be searching for a match that will apparently fit your play style better while you're playing a totally different game. So they're really relying on the multitasking and this snapping thing and showing you multiple things at the same time. It's a really interesting interface, and they're talking about, they kind of mentioned that you could also do sharing of content, but again, that's something they really, really glossed over. It felt like everything that had to do with video games just got totally glossed over. So it'll be interesting to see what they actually do with matchmaking, because usually matchmaking is one of the things that I find is the most unbalanced across all platforms, like PC as well. It's not just like an Xbox or console problem. It's across all games that I play. Matchmaking, they're still trying to figure that out. So if Xbox actually does have some kind of architecture behind it that will make matchmaking better, then hooray. Like, that will be a big selling point for me. I'm really looking forward to hearing more about what they're going to do with that. But I don't know when that might happen. I imagine at E3, but I don't really know.
But they need a title to show off with matchmaking, and I mean, it's not going to be. Hopefully, it's not like EA Sports titles. It's got to be, or the racing titles. I mean, I know those games have matchmaking, but really, when it comes right down to it, I want to see,
I want to see a shooter.
Yeah, a shooter. Like, that's where
absolutely.
matchmaking is that, or an RTS. And we know an RTS and consoles don't get along very well, but a shooter would be great. Hopefully not Call of Duty. I think it needs to be
I think it probably
exclusive.
will be Call of Duty.
Oh, man. I'm kind of sick of Call of Duty, guys.
Well,
This coming from the Halo guy, but I mean, I don't know. I feel like Call of Duty is just really easy to predict.
Yeah. So the chat room was just saying, I don't know what the context of this was, but that they're really cramming a lot into the Xbox One, and that is definitely how it feels. The interface feels crammed when you're doing something, even just watching sports. They were like, you can watch sports and then have your Twitter and then have your ladder and your this, that, and the other thing. And I'm just like, oh my God, the human brain can only process so much. Like, stop cramming my screen full of things I don't need. I just want to watch my basketball game, So,
Yeah.
I think what we, if you're kind of ready, I think we've pretty much touched on everything that they actually revealed. So there was a couple of things that the PlayStation took some heat on. Well, one thing in particular that the PlayStation presentation took some heat on, and that was no women presenters. So Xbox had women presenters.
Yeah, I didn't realize that the head of 343 was a woman. I mean,
No,
that's
I
great.
didn't know that either. So yeah, that's fantastic. But I mean, I was really happy with what they did, because it seemed to me that Microsoft had women in upper level positions, that those positions would have been presenting regardless if they were a man or a woman. So I mean, that made me happy. It made me feel like they weren't just parading women out onto the stage to be like, hey, we have women, yay. It really felt to me like they were like, well, we need presentations from the president of this and this and this and this and this. Go. And then some of them just happen to be women because, I mean, as we've touched on before, I am a big fan of just best person for the job. So I'm really happy that there were women in the mix, but I'm also really happy that they weren't forced in there.
Yeah. No, that's a good point. I mean, a couple people made that point, and I mean, I wasn't gonna tweet it because then it would be sexist because I'm a guy, but like, I mean, I kind of don't care who's presenting it. It could be a robot. I just want video games. They could have like Rob the Robot come out and just talk about a video game, and I'd be happy. It doesn't necessarily need to be a man, a woman, or a dog, for that matter. I mean, it could. There was a dog presenter.
Everyone went apeshit over the dog.
Yeah, it's like. Next gen. It's all about the dog.
It's all about the dog.
It's gone to the dogs. But I think that's an interesting point, and kudos to Microsoft to having people in those positions like that. But I mean, they still talked about Halo TV, which really wasn't that exciting.
I was gonna say, how did you feel about Halo TV? Like, what's going on with that? I mean, they have Steven Spielberg, who is going to make a Halo TV show, and it seems like that's going to be exclusive content to Xbox. And it feels almost like Xbox is doing their own Netflix or TV channel, or, where do you think that they're taking this whole Xbox TV thing?
Well, I mean, they said it would be a premium television service. Like, that's how Halo TV would work. So it could be
Which I think, sorry, I'm just going to jump
sorry.
right in and say this. I think that is bullshit. I already pay to have Xbox Live. I'm already giving you a monthly subscription. Like, you're giving me a TV show and you're still gonna charge me more money? Stop.
Well, I mean, it could be that. It could be the worst case scenario where they're saying, okay, you have Xbox Silver, which is free and gets you nothing. You have Xbox Live Gold, which gives you everything you need. And then you have Xbox Live Platinum, which gives you all the extra TV stuff. Or it could be a premium TV service in the sense that you can subscribe to Xbox TV through your cable box. And then you just get Halo, you get all the Xbox Live TV stuff through your normal Xbox Live subscription. That's the problem, is we don't know what they're talking about. We don't know, because they didn't really specify, but I think it'd be really neat that my mom doesn't need to own an Xbox, but she could still watch Halo TV off of her satellite dish or something. It's not really an applicable example.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
but I'm just
not that I'm gonna pay for Halo TV anyway, but I feel like they like to take my money, and I'm not a huge fan of giving it to them anymore, because I feel like the more PlayStation has been in the news, the more we hear about the PlayStation 4, the more I learn because I've never had a PlayStation, so the more that I learn about the free services that PlayStation offers, the more I'm just like, Microsoft, what are you doing? Like, I've been loyal to you ever since I went away from Nintendo, and I never bought a PlayStation. I really like the exclusive content on the Xbox, and I'm just like, could you stop gouging me just for a minute? Like, please.
They make too much money off of those Xbox Live subscriptions, and not to burst Sony's bubble, but I think they've also stated that they like that money and they want to get that money too. I mean, PlayStation Plus was sort of this huge success that they have.
But like with PlayStation Plus, because that is one thing that I've learned a little bit more about in the last month, is like they give you access to games every month. Like was it XCOM? No, it wasn't XCOM. Secret World or something. I can't remember what was in our quickfire a couple weeks ago, but like big name titles that are things that I probably wouldn't have picked up on my own, but if I have free access through PlayStation Plus, which I paid like comparable amount of money for PlayStation Plus and Xbox Live. I don't actually know what the pricing on PlayStation is, but
yeah, it's right on par. I think
exactly, it's on par with the Xbox. But I don't get anything out of my Xbox. I don't even get Netflix for free through Xbox. I still have to pay my Netflix subscription. Like like Xbox Live doesn't actually give me anything other than internet connectivity and access to services I already pay for through other things, or access to my multiplayer content in, say, Mass Effect. Like, games I've already paid for, services I've already paid for. It's like Xbox is just this money wall between me and everything I want to do. So, I don't know. I'm a little bit disillusioned, and I think it's going to come down to when it actually comes time to purchasing a console is which one I get more from. And I don't need an entertainment box. I really think that PlayStation's going to get my money this time around.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be tough to make a decision. I'll even be surprised if it's tough to make a decision once E3's over, because I think
True.
I wouldn't surprise me if they hold back information, because they're sort of playing this weird game, Sony and Microsoft, where they're kind of staring at each other, right? Just not lovingly.
Who's gonna flinch first?
Yeah, but who's gonna flinch first? And it kind of looks like they're both just have this silent agreement that's like, okay, we're not going to say anything important until like September.
Yeah.
You know, and that's when the gloves will come off. But for now, we'll just sort of show off our boxes and, you know, tease a few games. But
well, and even then, I mean, the thing that got me into like purchasing an Xbox over a PlayStation last time was exclusive content, and I'm a huge Fable fan. I really like the series, so that was kind of almost a no-brainer for me, because I was just like, I really want to play Fable. Fable is made for the Xbox, so therefore I'm buying an Xbox. And I mean, there doesn't seem to be, like, the one thing that we're hearing just kind of whispers and rumors of is a Fable MMO. I don't want a Fable MMO. I already get my MMO fix on my PC. I don't want a console version of an MMO. Even if it was Skyrim. Like, I don't want people in my Skyrim. I like my single player experience. Like, Elder Scrolls Online is going to be good. I'm looking forward to it, but I'm going to play it on my PC. I don't want an MMO on my console. So they've kind of lost me.
Yeah, I don't know. It's really tough to say. Like the Xbox, what we saw today, and was kind of just, like I said, it was what we expected. On the worst case scenario, right? We expected to see a lot of Netflix, a lot of like non-core gaming stuff. We still got to see the hardware and what to expect. It looks to be on par with what the PS4 is offering in terms of graphics. So that's good, I guess.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I think it's going to come down to services and games, like it should. But I don't know. I think Xbox is going to have a hard time actually coming through. But I think to wrap this up, what I think we should probably cover is some of the big rumors and things that we heard coming into the Xbox reveal, and what's actually come out of it. So really, there was two really big things that everyone thought that the Xbox was going to do. The first one was the always-on internet connection, and I think we've seen that that's a thing. You know, I don't know if it's going to be in terms of the actual games you have to be online, but I mean, with all the integration of everything that they've done with their search and their, you know, dynamic achievements and everything else, I mean, you can't not have an internet connection for that.
Yeah, it says Don Matrick, the guy who was at the event, has come out and said that an always on connection is not required to play single player games, but obviously a lot of these games will have these social functions, so you'll need an internet connection. But if you live in the country, you can still like
enjoy your single player content.
Exactly. So I mean, that's not really a surprise, but then again, like, when was the last time you played a video game when your internet was out?
Yeah.
And that was a conversation we've had a lot when these rumors were sort of swirling.
And that's fine. I mean, I don't have a problem with having to have my game console always connected to the internet, because it usually is anyway. It's not really a big deal. What I was more concerned about is that they would be, especially with this new partnership with EA, that they would be going more towards, they kept saying cloud, 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 cloud. The last thing I want is all of my games to be like SimCity, but on the console. So, you know, like, all of my saves are in the cloud, all of my content is in the cloud. There is nothing on my disk or on my hard drive that is actually mine. You know, like, there's no software locally. I don't want to have to constantly connect to something in order to access my game. Like, SimCity proves that doesn't work. The technology or whatever is not there. Whether that's your internet speed, whether that's server space or processor speed, whatever the problem is, it's not there, it's not ready. And until you can guarantee me that I can always access my game from now until infinity, stop. Get me out of the cloud. Just stop.
Well, I mean, you say stop, but I mean, Microsoft is not stopping because they mentioned the cloud a lot, and the cloud is going to have a
They
big
did.
deal
And they do
with Xbox
cloud
One.
they do cloud save games, and I'm okay with
Hmm.
that. With saving my game in the cloud, that's fine. Cuz usually what I do is I have my cloud saves and I back that up on my hard drive, but I can do that. The problem with SimCity is that there's no way to do that. You save in the cloud, everything is on the server, like there's nothing local, and that's what worries me. So I really hope that that's not the way that they're going. Like I said, I don't mind having my console plugged into the internet all the time to get that constant flow of information and the dynamic everything and the achievements and all the social stuff. Cool. But the minute it affects my gameplay, not a fan.
Right, and I mean there are stories out there talking about the cloud and the Xbox One and saying that the system will become more powerful as the cloud improves. And there's nothing stopping a developer from pulling a SimCity and saying this is online always.
Hmm.
You know, I mean the story about always on says that Microsoft isn't going to be forcing you to have an always online connection, but there's
That
nothing stopping, say, an
outside
MMO creator.
developers. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and I mean, if it's a game by game basis, that's what we wanted. So
Yeah.
I guess we win in that sense.
So yeah, and then so the second kind of rumor that we had going into this event that everybody wanted to hear about was the whole used games thing. So I mean, right at the very beginning, we saw that there is still a disk drive in the Xbox, which a lot of people were saying that it wasn't going to have. Period. That it
Hmm.
was going to completely move away from that. That everything was going to be downloaded from the internet and saved on the hard drive, and that would be the end of it. And we didn't get that, so I'm really happy about that because that means that my discs will still fit into my Xbox One should that be the way that I go. But there is a but.
A big one.
That's your cue. You can talk about it now.
Oh, okay. I thought we were going to talk about big butts. And I can't lie because
Oh
it
man,
turns
I was like,
out,
don't do it. Don't do it.
yeah, they obviously didn't mention this in the presentation because it really would have pissed off a lot of mainstream people because used games is something that a lot of people, that's how they play games, right? And it looks like Microsoft is going to be having a fee, like a paywall. So if you buy a game used that's been tied to somebody else's profile, keep in mind that you're tying disks to profiles. Games must be installed on the hard drive to play. And you can't even lend that game to somebody. Like you can't remove. I don't think you can remove it off your profile. And
No,
give
I
it to
don't think
somebody
so.
else.
I think it's similar to what EA tried to do with the whole online pass thing, where they included a code that only worked once that let you use the game. And then so if you were buying a used game, you then had to pay a $10 or $15 fee, which EA has just said that they've just gotten rid of, which it's kind of funny with their partnership with Microsoft. I wonder if they've gotten rid of it because they know that Microsoft is putting this into place, and so they're going to get a cut of that, right?
Probably.
Probably. So it's I don't know.
That sucks.
Basically, it does suck. So you're not going to be able to purchase like basically you have to add another 10 or 15 bucks to every used game that you purchase.
And no more renting games. Like,
No
I
more
just
renting
rented-
games.
I just rented a game. I just borrowed a game from my brother. Like that is something that I will not be able to do. I mean, maybe borrowing from somebody is a little more is still something you can do because hey, paying $10 to have access to this. Well, see, do you need the disc to play it? I guess is that the other thing, or do you just pay the $10 to transfer the license to your, or sorry, have the license on your profile? Like that's something we don't know.
Yeah, they haven't given a whole lot of details, but it's just the fact that it's going to make used games that much more of a headache. You know, like I think that they're probably going to do something like, or they're probably expecting people to just say, oh, this is a pain in the ass, I'm just not going to do it, you know, because I mean, if you look at used games right now, you've got like say Halo 4 right after it came out, or really any title right after it comes out. You've got a $60 game. Usually people play it, return it like I did in a week or two. And then when those titles go up used, it's $5 off. So if I wanted to get Halo 4 a couple of weeks after release, I could pick it up used and then I get a $5 discount, basically. With this, it's going to be a long time for those used games to drop to a price point that's low enough that when you add on that $10 or $15, that you're actually still getting a deal. It means that these $5 off type things that have been going on in GameStop for a while, it's going to take a lot longer. It's not going to be 2 weeks. It's now going to be like a 6-month window. And it's going to be on all the really popular games. It's going to be a long time before it's actually worth it to buy used. So, I mean, this is going to take a huge chunk out of the used game industry.
Well, it's like we were worried they were just targeting the used game industry, but really they're targeting every single gamer with this move because, like I was saying, like borrowing from a friend, renting, or even just used purchases, that pretty much is a Venn diagram of every single gamer. It's very rare that a gamer will just buy all their games
new
new.
all the time. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a rare occurrence, especially when there are games out there that are, it's like, well, this is a rent, this is a buy. Like you don't hear that much anymore, but it's still something that people do, right?
Yeah.
So it's weird, and I kind of want to hear them talk more about it because, again, it was just sort of like this is what we're doing, but we're focusing on our football partnership because that's what gamers care about.
Yep.
It's not
the
true.
Sports.
Yeah.
The EA and the sports.
And a similar note is that they talked about backwards compatibility.
Oh, yeah,
You know?
that was the other thing, the whole used game backwards compatibility thing that I forgot to mention. So take her away. Backwards
And they ain't doing
compatibility.
it.
Yeah.
Same excuses as Sony that the hardware is just changed and it's not worth their time and resources and our money to have backwards compatibility work.
Which I kind of find to be a funny statement, given that they're like 1-1-1. You only need one box, one thing in your living room. It's like
Except you need an Xbox
except
360.
you need a 360 to play your 360 games. So there's 2 boxes. Plus, if you want PlayStation, there's another box. Plus, if you want your PlayStation 3, that's another box. We're up to 4 consoles, not counting Nintendo. Like.
Yeah. And we aren't just talking about disc-based games. We're also talking about all those great XBLA titles you purchased.
Oh my God, that's hard to say. XBLA.
Yeah, I mean, it sucks because there's just a lot of great little titles that just you won't be able to play anymore. I mean, I as soon as I got the Wii U, I boxed up the Wii. It was a no-brainer because the Wii U has the Wii built into it, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know what I'm gonna do when I purchase a new console. Like,
Well,
do I pack it up?
And I kind of understand what they're saying about how the hardware's progressed and that this, that, and the other thing. And I mean, like, if you looked at the Call of Duty Ghosts stuff that they showed side by side with the Modern Warfare 3 stuff, it's obvious. Like, I mean, I think the chat room said, "Oh my God, they can show arm hair." Like it is very detailed, very advanced, and there's a big difference between stuff from a year and a half ago when, Modern Warfare 3 was cutting edge a year and a half ago, and then now we've got this new Call of Duty Ghost title, so 2 years later, and it's leaps and bounds ahead of Modern Warfare 3. So, yes, there are huge updates, but at the same time, it's like, why can't I play my game that doesn't require all of this power and speed? Why can't I play that on my Xbox One? Like I know the engines are different and this, that, and the other thing, but I feel like they're not even trying.
Yeah, I don't know. It really sucks to see that all those great games are just gonna have to go in the box, or I have no more room.
Including Halo 4. They were touting Halo 4, and I'm sure that Halo 4 is probably one of the games that they will make available on the Xbox One in some way or another. You'll probably have to buy it again, but they will probably make Halo 4 available in some way, because, I mean, they made this big, huge deal about how Halo is going to be Halo 4, 5, and 6. There's going to be a trilogy, so you can't have a trilogy split over 2 consoles. They're going to have to make that come across. But, I mean, if they don't, then again, if you want to play, like, sit down and play the Halo trilogy 4, 5, and 6, then you're going to have to play it on 2 different consoles, and you're going to have to do 2 different consoles in your living room. And it's just like, you're moving so far away from this concept of one that, like, why wouldn't you just go to that extra mile to satisfy what is supposed to be your core audience?
Maybe if they had removed Kinect, they could have included the Xbox 360 chip in the system to allow us to play all those old games. I mean, is that something we would have rather seen them do?
I don't know. Like I said, we're gonna have to wait until E3 because right now the gamer in me is just it's doing the ragey thing. I've been trying to keep it down, but it's doing a little bit of the ragey thing.
But today was supposed to be the day that we could stop, guessing at what was gonna happen this holiday. I mean, once Sony unveiled, I think they unveiled enough in their presentation in February. They unveiled enough that we could say you can make an educated guess as to whether you want to purchase it, minus the cost. I mean, if you know you're going to buy one and you knew all the facts similar to what Sony unveiled, you probably could have made a decision. Not based on finances, but based on what games I want to play this holiday. But we still can't make that decision, which sucks. We got to wait another 20 days?
Yeah, 2.5, 3 weeks. Yeah,
that's too far away.
You're so impatient, Ryan.
And we said that in February. It's like May is too far away.
Yeah.
So.
All right. Well, I think that pretty much wraps it up. I did have confirmation from our guest that he is stuck in a business meeting. So very big apologies, guys. I'm really, really sorry. It would have been a really awesome show. Hopefully we can grab him on another episode of The Gamers Inn. But yeah, I think that does it. So if you want to email the show, you can do so at info@gamersinpodcast.com. You can find us on all of the places. Facebook, Twitter, I'm GIS Gamer, Ryan is R. Murphy, and if you can't tell, I don't have show notes in front of me. So there's a whole big spiel I normally do at the end of the episode, but this is a special, so I'm not going to do it, because it's special. So, Thanks for tuning into The Gamers Inn, and don't forget to join us on Friday. Bye, guys!
Bye!